Hello and welcome back to another episode of Jurassic's World with me, Juras6x. On this episode we are going to be looking at our villager farms and our villager breeder. So you may have noticed a couple of things behind me. So we've got some sort of fence designs that I was looking at to potentially put around our villager breeder. Villager farms, so that they can still sort of move around a little naturally, but also looks a bit more interesting than just having some glass walls. So what I've done over here is I've grabbed some of our wool from our organic wool farm in the barn, and I've sort of marked out a few areas. So looking at having a carrot or wheat, a potato which will have our villager breeder attached to it. I think probably on the far side, so it's sort of slightly hidden away, and then on the other side either a carrot or wheat, depending on what this first one is. So we've also got this house or two houses here, which I think I will make probably the same as this, and then we're going to build a bigger house around it. So that will be sort of our quote unquote gardener's house or farmer's house, so that they can get access to these three, but actually the farmers won't leave this area. It'll just be a nice little thing to sort of improve the quality of life of our villagers here. So that's what the plan is for today. I'm going to start on this one. Going to do it sort of semi on camera. I'm going to be using the Impulse SV villager farm and breeder, so I'll put a link to that in the description. But other than that, we'll get cracking and go from there. So as you can see, I've marked out a grid pattern on our sort of grass. This is actually going to be the level of our farm, so slightly different to Impulse SV's tutorial, but this center one will be our water block, and then we've got 9 out in each direction, and then we've got these sort of corner or edge blocks. These will all be farmland, so this will all be turned into farmable land for our villagers, and this 3x3 area is where we will put the villager breeder. It will be slightly sunken, so we can either put a hut, sort of a tool shed or something like that, so it looks less sort of imposing. So let's grab a bucket of water, and we can start off by putting some water in there. Let's grab our wool, and then on top of that we will be putting the composter. So this is sort of the main items that you'll need for this farm. There are obviously the blocks that go around it, so that can be any block really, as long as that you build it in a way that will keep the villager inside the farm. So we'll grab the composter and one of the glow globes, and that will go on top of that. So let's just put a temporary block there, composter, and then we'll have the glowstone on top. We may change that to something else at a later stage, but that's sort of the first step of this farm. So next up we're going to grab the rest of the glowstone, and we're going to put it in the corners, miss one block and then another one there, and we're going to do this all the way around. This just makes sure that the whole of the farm is continually lit, enough to stop spawning of the mobs. So just make sure that you're putting it in, and it doesn't necessarily have to be glow globe or glowstone even. It can be a redstone lamp if it's powered, the prismarine, I can't remember, a sea lantern, or it could even be a torch, but it just needs to be something that will allow the illumination of the whole farm So once you've put the glowstone in, or your light source, what you're going to need is to put the rest of the water sources in. So in between each glowstone, we put a water source in. So that can be on like a waterlogged step, or half slab, or anything like that. I'm going to keep mine as a full block because I know, or my plan is to build over these, so it doesn't really have to be visible or not visible. Oh, I've messed that up. Let's turn that back into an infinite. There we go. So yeah, this can be any way you like. I'm just doing it like this because for me it's going to suit the design in the end. Could still put in oh, I've done that one wrong. Oh god, getting flustered now. Right, that is not it's not supposed to be water. Let's fill that back in before we forget. And this one, congratulations, we've done it. So what I'll do next is, where all the wool is, I'll take that out and put back in soil, and then we'll hoe all the farmland into the design so it's ready for the next stage. And I'm gonna get some sleep before the old monsters come and get me. So now that I've removed all the wool and replaced it with dirt, we're going to go ahead and hoe all of this. I've got my trusty hoe to do this. So we're just going to go around, do that, and then we'll start planting the potatoes. So I'll do a quick time lapse so that you're not waiting around watching me hoe and potato. And there we go, the whole farm has been planted with potatoes. So we used just under 3.5 stacks of potato. If you don't have the full amount, as long as you plant the same crop within the farm, then the farmer will take any seeds or carrots or potatoes and use that to plant the area first, and then we'll come back and we'll start throwing it to the villagers when we get to the next stage. If you also notice, it's all getting hydrated, so the darker shade of farmland, if it stays like this or reverts back to soil or grass, then you've missed one of these water blocks on one of these sides. So just make sure everything's hydrated as it is here, and you'll be fine basically. So that's that step. So on to the next step. So I've made a little mistake. So just here in between the glowstone, that I believe should not be filled in with farmland. Obviously got overzealous whilst doing this, so we'll just take those out. That one I've done well, congratulations. So it was just on that side where I've fudged it a bit. So what we're going to do now is grab our trapdoors and head over to the far end where we're going to have our villager breeder. So if you just want to collect the crops, you can just have a villager here in the same situation, and the farmer will throw excess crops to them. Otherwise, what you need to do is, let's get rid of these. So let's use some shears, speed things up, leave the one in the middle, and then we're going to put trapdoors around the side so that we have a sort of a single square. Oh, I put that I put that tree there for a little bit of yeah, natural look, and it's getting in my way. So there we go, that's the start. So 4 trapdoors around the central block. So from this point, you're going to place a chest down here. So I'm going to put a double chest because I expect to fill it up relatively quickly. And you'll have a hopper feeding directly into this chest. And then what you'd like to do is build up 2, oh, not there, there, and there, and there, and there. Let's just get rid of that very quickly. Although actually that would have been useful. So, and then on top, we're going to put some half slabs so that the baby villagers can't escape, and then above this chest going to put some glass just so that you can see what's going on within the chamber there. So that's it, that's pretty much done. So what we've got now, or what we will have, is we'll have our farmer running around inside this area. We'll build up some walls so that he can't escape. We'll have a couple of villagers in this here, going to bring in some minecarts and then just drop them on top of that fence post. They'll still be able to access the beds, go to sleep, and then when they wake up they'll stand back on that fence post because that's the only place that they'll be able to access. And then the baby villagers will drop down either side of the fence post into that chamber to grow up. The farmer will be throwing crops through this gap here onto the 2 villagers inside, and then any excess will be dropping down into the chest. So that's pretty much it for sort of building the design. What we will need to do now, like I said, is to go around and put in sort of the fencing and the area to stop our villager from leaving this area. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Going to do it off camera, and then we'll come back and show you the end results. So after a little bit of time, we have now built a fence around our farm and built our tool shed. Looking a bit janky at the moment, but we have the rail which is coming from these 2 wonderful looking boxes over here. So we've got 2 villagers in here and another one in there. So those will be populous for these this area. So let's get them into our farm and let's see what's going to happen, because you never know what will happen with villagers. Unfortunately, they're a strange breed and they like to do their own thing from time to time. So let's get this opened up so we can see Mr. Villager. There he is. Right, let's get him onto that rail, hopefully. There we go. Can we put, no, there, no, there, that's got to do it. Right, redstone torch, and he's off. Alright, so first villager, come on, you can do it. This could, if this works first time, this could be a miracle. Oh, yes. Oh, should be able to, oh, there we go. So we should see a villager. Yep, looks like that's working. He's on top of there. Let's just open up that. Yep, he's in between the trapdoors. Right, number 2. That went far too well for my liking. Let's put our block back. Did I? No, of course I didn't leave some steps there for myself. There we go. Right, dirt. Let's put dirt back there. Dear. Okay. Anyway, right. These 2 should still be in minecarts as well. Yes, they are. Fantastic. Alright. Let's get rid of them every time. Alright, fingers crossed we can just push this one. Just want one of them, because they're going into our breeder. Right. It's got to be that one. Oh, I didn't get him out of the minecart first. This could be a challenge. Yeah, that is a challenge, right? Fingers crossed we don't kill the poor fella. Oh, balancing it on his head. There we go. Come on. There we go. Right, he's in. Yeah, we can always fix these bits later on. Oh, so you saw the composter. Right, that's that done. Let's get our other villager in. Fingers crossed this works, because I did try to get a few mobs at night coming into the farm. Had a few break-ins, but nothing too drastic, and fixed those holes up. Oh, it's getting dark. Right, and he's off. There we go, and he's gone. Oh, right. There we go. Oh dear. Where's he going? Come on, what's this over here? What's this? Oh no, are you kidding me? So we've got our villager in, and he is already off and farming. So come on, show us what you got. You're just doing it a moment ago. There we go. There we go. Excellent. So let's open up here, and he should be able to see his fellow villagers. We'll give them these extra potatoes. I'm sure they're hungry. Oh, yep, they ate them. They definitely ate them. So he should be filling up his inventory now. And then after a while, he'll start to throw them at his other friends. So let's have a look around. So we've tried to decorate it quite nicely and in theme. So we've got our quote-unquote tool shed over here, and then we have some trees that are growing like through the fence, or being part of the fence, and then lots of lighting, as well as the glowstones which are hidden. We've got these little whatever they're called these days. So hopefully it looks quite nice, and I'm gonna have to make a run for it. There we go, made it. So let's go up top and just have a little watch of our farmer. He should be enjoying himself. By the looks of it, he's doing quite well. And then hopefully soon he'll start throwing some potatoes towards his fellow villagers. So this farm looks like it's going pretty well. I'm gonna wait here for a bit and see what happens. Looks like he's gone over to start feeding now. Let's just quickly pop in here. Oh. Yeah. He's fed him. They possibly will start breeding. No? Maybe? Looks like a villager meeting right now. He's looking at me funny. Better walk away. Oh, there we go. There we go. let him finish off his meeting. Oh dear. Oh dear. I've got some potatoes too. Let me give some potatoes. Oh, wow, he must have a lot. Yes. Let's go. Oh. Thanks. Oh, that's great. Oh, there we go. Are we going to have a little one? Did it happen? I don't know if it happened. Is that too far for me, or is it too far for them? Let's try throwing it up. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah. If we lose a few potatoes, it's not the end of the world. Quick. Never know with these pesky villagers what they're gonna do. Right, let's go see if we've got a little fella. I've built this too well. Oh, there we go. Right, we can get out. I don't know if they can get out. Yes, look who it is. And we've got potatoes. We got our first villager. Success. I am so happy. This is amazing. Right, that'll be it for today. Ooh. So we've had a very successful day of building our first farm. So now we have a potato farm. I can now get on with making a carrot and a wheat farm, wherever that is over there. I've got some ideas that I want to see if will work with one of these new farms, so let's get building that, and when we come back with the next episode, hopefully I'll have had one or two of them done, and we can get going with even more farms. My name's Juras6x, and this is Juras6x World, and thank you for joining me.